It's another state of the sim.
That's right. It's State of the Sim. Next time we do this, we need to have like effects. That would be cool, right?
Effects? What effects?
Like an echo, a reverb, so like I can do that. Pigs in space.
With our tech, we can barely get the stream going on time without problems.
Although this time, fingers crossed, so far we're looking good, right? All right, so first thing, let's talk about something new that we've opened. We're going to start with MeshMart. So, MeshMart is our model store. It's gone live in the past couple of weeks. Can you show it to
Sure.
them, please, DeAndre? You can get to it from either Blackbird Sims or military visualizations. And there it is. Just click on MeshMart and it'll take you. There we go. So what this is we're selling the 3D models that we're not going to use for a variety of reasons. That's not to say that they're bad, or that we're never going to do the projects involved with those aircraft. Just that these aircraft and the models, well, particularly the weapons are, we are going to use them, but we figured other people might want them. And the aircraft are, we're never going to use those models, so we decided that we would sell them. So they're relatively inexpensive for what they are. They're also up on Turbo Squid and on CG Trader, but they are 30% or something more expensive to buy them from those places. And the reason for that should be obvious, and that is because they take a piece of the action. It's to be noted that none of the models here are, the renderings are not actually renderings. They're just in 3D Studio Max screenshots. But most of them, if not all of them, have MSFS type textures and are very nice in the simulator. That bone is particularly wonderful. And so, yes, I know the ATR. Yes, I know you can see the ATR. Yes, the ATR is in that list because the likelihood of us doing it is very low. But I will say this isn't the super high resolution version that we redid recently. That one is very much nicer, and remains a possibility. I'm still very sad about that whole thing, and everybody in the company knows it, and they continually remind me, do not do the ATR. So anyway, MeshMart can be reached from both Military Visualizations, mvusa.com, militaryvisualizations.com, or blackbirdsims.com. And the name of the website itself is meshmart.com. If you have 3D Studio 3D models that you'd like to sell, please reach out. We take only 15% off the top, which is much better than any of the other companies. Yeah, that's MeshMart. Yay, MeshMart! Yes, I wish we would do. I want to do all of these aircraft, but we just don't have time. We don't have
Yeah.
time, and we don't have the developer staff to do it. So yeah. Oh, look at that Stuka. Oh my God, that Stuka is so awesome. Aardvark. Okay, moving on. Moving on. Things we're not going to do. So yeah, so that was number one, MeshMart. Number two is we're going to briefly discuss the UH-1H. So the UH-1H is still in dev right now because of our contractual obligations with which I'm sure most of you are aware of, for the Sky Crane and the Chinook, and some others which we're not at liberty to discuss. We are busy handling those, getting them into 2024. So the idea here is that we're still actively coding for it, but just not right at the moment. And also, we're seriously looking at what's involved with 2024. Duh. And that goes to the D30 as well. We're still moving forward on that. We actually have 5 people working on that. Same goes for the 732. There's 2 people working on that. The flight profile is actually being done by Tom Falley, who was a 732 pilot. So he's got the chops, and he's very good at what he does. He did the original Corsair for us back in FSX, and a bunch of other aircraft as well. So we trust him, and we know we know he's going to deliver something great. We're very close on the flight profile already, and he seems to be happy with it. It's the model is ongoing. Systems are ongoing. We don't have a set release date for this, but fingers crossed it'll be sometime soon-ish. Don't know. We're not sure. Let's see what else. Oh, the Otter and the Totter. So modeling is now finished, and oh boy, does this plane look good. She is stunning. So no, we are not doing a straight floats. We're doing an amphib. I think we're doing an amphib. It's one or the other. I can't remember. And tundra tires, and regular tires, and of course skis. And it will be 2 versions. It will be the Otter and the Turbo Otter, which I call the Totter. And oh boy, she is awesome. She's so pretty. And lots of springs and stuff, and shaking panels, and cool, man. Very cool. Let's see what else. Oh, we have some video of the SR, which we can show off. So DeAndre, let's take a look. Now this plane is close to my heart, right? I have actually, hold on, I'm just gonna grab it. Oh, maybe we've seen this before, I don't know. This is a part from the destroyed SR-71.
Wow. I didn't know you had that.
Yeah, this is an actual piece of the SR-71, and the reason I know it's an actual piece from an SR-71 is because of the screws, which are very specific to the SR-71. So you can't find those screws anywhere else. Anyway,
where did you get that?
So this guy I know, he has some land down there, and I believe it was Texas or Arizona, and it blew up in his backyard. Well, I mean, 80,000
Wow.
feet above his backyard. Right?
Wow.
So,
I didn't think I knew about that story. That's crazy.
So I think it was, I can't remember the name of the pilot. The pilot survived. His RSO did not, unfortunately. But yes, at speed.
Has the statute of limitations run up on him holding that top secret government piece of aircraft?
It's actually kind of interesting that after this crash, when there was an F-117 crash prior to it being announced, they actually replaced the wreckage of the F-117 with an F-100.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so because it was unannounced, but the SR-71, I think that they didn't think of it until it was too late, right? But yeah, this is an actual piece of history.
That's pretty cool. I'm surprised you don't have that thing framed somehow,
Well, I actually hang it, on my my wall of weirdness.
That's what I call a Christmas mistletoe right there.
Yep. I also have funny story. Hold on. D might know what
Uh
this
oh.
is. Remember this?
Oh yeah. I have mine. They're up here on my shelf up here. Yeah, we stole those out of a derelict strato cruiser. Well, the
I'm sorry.
military version.
Hold on. No, 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 no. No, I did not get my hands or anything else dirty. Whereas D was crawling around in the guts of that wreck. I was just like, there's no way that I am crawling around. I mean, it was like a tunnel. It was this high.
Yeah.
That, I was surprised that he could fit in there and he didn't get stuck. I was like, I'm not hauling your ass out of there, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
So for
that was
those who don't
good.
know, what we're talking about. So when we were off doing the all of the imagery of the sky crane, there was a derelict air museum that closed about I think like 7 years ago, or when they went bankrupt or something like that. And so they have like a huge like boneyard of aircraft, and a lot of them are actually fairly intact. And this, I forget what the military version of the Strato Cruiser was called, the C something. I don't remember what it was called, but all the aircraft were open, so you could like go in there, and there's like manuals from the 1950s all over the place, and there's all this really cool stuff. But to get to the cockpit, you had to like crawl through this long narrow tunnel. And I mean, and it's filthy in there. I mean, this is an aircraft that's been sitting out in the desert for the better part of or a little more than half a century, and it's just there and it's filthy. But I'm like, I want to get to that cockpit, and that was the only way. So I squeezed through this like narrow, 5 yard long like tunnel, and then I get up to the cockpit, and I got some really cool pictures in there. But yeah, I guess a lot of people have been siphoning off pieces and parts because a lot of it was missing. But the engineers panel was entirely intact. And I'm like, I wonder if I could reach out to the airport authority and be like, can I just go and take that entire engineers panel? It won't fit to the tunnel. I don't even know how you'd get it out of the airplane. But anyway, there was what was left of the front panel instruments. I got a couple of souvenirs, and then I get out of there, I go back to the sky crane, and Colin's like, where's mine? so then
So he goes back.
And I'm like, you get your ass in there and go crawl up there and get it. And Colin gets in there. He's like, I'm not going in there. You're going back in there.
Fucking, that's right.
It was
Absolutely.
claustrophobic as hell in that plane, but it was awesome though.
Which is, sorry,
Yeah.
I'm not, no, I'm not really that claustrophobic, but I was looking at that and going, this seems a little questionable.
Yeah.
So now I'm just gonna let the managing director go do that crap for me. And he got me this tiny little one. I mean, look at it. I mean, it's cool and all, but it's tiny. His is like,
No, mine's are the same size.
bigger.
I just have more of them than you do.
Oh, you have
I do.
more.
Where
Yes,
are they?
yes.
Oh, here they here. Wait, hang on. I'll show you. I have mine right here. Hang on. Oh, I gotta reach. There we go. It's one of them. There it is. Where's the camera? Oh, it's up here. There you go.
Yeah, see, his is bigger.
It's not bigger.
Yes, it is.
It's bigger
okay,
because
no,
it's black. I don't get your point.
You're
Ah!
so fucking funny, man. Just so funny. Oh man. Anyway, okay, so you see this video of the SR-71. It's important to note that this is work in progress. I mean, I know it says that, but it's important to note that it is work in progress. So what you're looking at is merely the beginnings of development in terms of systems and flight profile. We got a really amazing flight profile guy. And this will actually, when it finally hits Mach, whatever it is, Mach 3 point something, we actually have several of the SR-71 pilots who are, yes, admittedly, they are old, but they remember. So we're going to have them fly this aircraft, and fingers crossed, they'll say yay or nay. It's not something that, we really want to do, but we are going to make a down and dumbed down version of this so that you can actually fly it the way it's not meant to be flown. This aircraft is actually extremely boring, other than the fact that it goes really, really fast. When I say boring, I don't mean boring in the sense of simulations. I mean boring in the sense of arcade, right? This is not an arcade bird. It requires close attention to fuel management, close attention to the spikes. You don't want to have an unstart. I'm still not 100% sure what an unstart is, but your spike movement is either computer controlled or it can be manually controlled should the DAFX go down. It is not a fly-by-wire aircraft. If you twitch, it can kill you. It cannot fly super fast down low. It bleeds fuel until it hits, altitude. But as you can see, she is very, very, very pretty. And we are looking forward to showing more of this bird as and when it becomes available. So we are now testing the flight profile at supersonic speeds and transonic, which is where most of the action happens. There's a fair amount of wobblies going on in the cockpit. So those will all be fixed, so it won't be wobbly at all. It'll be really crisp and clean. But yeah, it's beautiful. It really is, really is beautiful.
I see there's some comments they're talking about Brian Scholl in the
Yes,
comment
so
section. Yeah.
So Brian, before he died, rest in peace, he and Walt, his RSO, they were extremely helpful in making this aircraft. So what we've done is we recorded them doing a full mission, and so our intention is to have the backseater be an AI kind of thing. So you will interact with the RSO, and you'll be given a list of choices of words that you can say. We did ask him to do some funny stuff, and so that's in there too. It'll be a little bit of an Easter egg, and so the systems and the information that we got from Walt and from Brian are invaluable. I mean, just tons of details that you would not otherwise have. So the manual, it's a manual. It doesn't describe the little niggly things and the little details that, manuals just don't have about aircraft. So, Brian talked to Dutch, our lead dev on this project, for I think it was about 2 days. And, they spent a lot of time together discussing how this plane flew, what the feedback was. We showed him our model, and he basically said, "Wow, this is just like the real deal." And so, yeah, it's very, very close to the real thing, and that's because we actually went and visited one and took a butt ton of pictures. Thank you again to Michael at Robbins Air Force Base for allowing us into this aircraft and onto this aircraft. Sorry, I can't remember the crew chief's name, and he was like, "You're not gonna walk on my plane," but yeah, we walked on the plane, and yeah, that was probably one of the most memorable experiences that I've had doing this for a living. It was awesome. So yeah, this plane, we're hoping that it will be ready for beta testing in the next, I don't know, couple of months or so. Alpha testing, we're almost there. So yeah, if you've got flight experience in an SR, give us a call.
All 5 of you.
I'm sorry. That was so mean.
That's awful.
That was so mean. Yeah. So yeah. So this project is going, and like I said, the D30 is also going, And we've got some really good people who are working on these aircraft. And like, I love our teams. They're so rocking, right? And we're nearly finished our military contracts. And as soon as we're done on those, our full concentration will be on the projects that are MSFS related. And yeah, so go team. So yeah, cool, right? Anybody got any questions about those aircraft? No? Okay, bye.
Anything that stands out, Merlin? Just kind of scrolling through here.
Someone was asking if the SR is gonna have flame outs.
Well, as that is something that it actually does in real life, or did in real life, the answer would be yes. So here's the problem with the SR, and when I use the word problem, I'm maybe overstressing, that it's a problem. So nobody has actually got an unstart or a flame out or a compressor stall of the aircraft on film. Like, it just doesn't exist. So all of the evidence, or of what happens or what it looks like, is for the most part anecdotal. And even the pilots who would be flying it, or the chase planes, the footage is extremely limited, and really, really super grainy footage, 8mm probably, and some of it probably still classified. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna, rough it out, what we think it should look like. And hopefully the SR-71 pilots that we have lined up will help us with what it looks like on the outside. On the inside, it's a matter of gauges and noises and shaking or banging, as the case may be. So yeah, our intention is to do it is going to be a study level, and I finger quoting, study level product. So it will be, you'll have to get in. It will be started for you, although we can set it up so that you start it with the tab, and then you get in, you fly, you get off the ground, you refuel. That's the first thing you would do, and then you hit your mission. So there is one part of this aircraft that we're not really going to be able to simulate properly, and as this aircraft was mission specific, the little screen that you see in the cockpit view was actually a repeater screen of what the RSO is seeing, and that was a pre-programmed flight path, pictures of the ground, done either by satellite or previous aircraft. And so you would follow that track, and it would just be, it's basically a roll of film. That was basically what it is. And so your aircraft, you would, the AP or the pilot would fly that picture roll, if you will. Now, because we can't do that for a whole variety of reasons, but the most important one is we want you, the end user, to be able to fly anywhere you want. So that's actually going to have, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to say it. That's going to have some part of the one of the GPS systems that exists inside the sim. Maybe GPS is too strong. It'll be some kind of moving map. We're going to try and sepia tone it. I don't know if we can, but it is our intention to do that. Now, this aircraft does not, or I believe it does have a very basic rudimentary GPS in it. but it's certainly not the kind of GPS systems that exist today. The aircraft mostly use some kind of star tracker, initial guidance, inertial guidance system, and a star tracker that was just behind the RSO. So very old school. The aircraft is actually, fairly simplistic in terms of modern day aircraft. It really wasn't the avionics and the systems in the cockpit and the WSO RSO that made this aircraft special. It was the technology and the engineering of the engines, the airframe, right? So yeah, it's super cool though, and yes, the spikes will move, and you'll have two different noses. I think we've got both noses, and I believe one of each of the liveries of the 31 SR-71s that were in existence. And yeah, we are so looking forward to this one. Like, it's a beauty. It really is a beauty. And yeah, any other questions?
I love how someone is saying, "Can we call ATC centers for ground speed rate readings?" You guys definitely should do that in VATSIM and piss everybody off. That would be great.
Yeah, ask ATC if you could do a flyby of the tower. What was that? Oh my god! Every single window on the base is broken. The D30 is ongoing. It has, like I said, five people working on it, not including the flight profile person. We're in the process of adding tooltips. The code, for the most part, is ported. Now we're just putting it all together and linking it. I'm not a developer myself personally, so when they explain it to me, I kind of blank out and take a nap, and then somebody pokes me and says, "Okay, we're done talking." So now I can, now I wake up. But yeah, so I know that we have 5 developers working on it. We're starting on effects. The flight profile is being worked on, and it is our intention to go into full-on beta testing very soon. Does that mean it will be released before 2024? The answer to that is, I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? We'll have to play that one by ear. I'd very much like it to be done, but given that we are just over a month away from the release of 2024, probably not. Yeah, and so it looks great. It will have cargo. It will have the ability to drop parachutes and stuff like that. We are trying to get in touch with the guy who did the C-160 effects to see if we can't integrate those. It really depends on what's offered in 2024. We'll see. And I can't really speak about 2024 other than to say, yes, we are working in it, because we're doing the ports for the Sky Crane and the Chinook. And let's see, what else can I say about it. It will have some wing flex. It's a honking big aircraft. I don't think it's going to work very well on the Xbox. This is merely my opinion. We have not tested it yet. Right now, we're in the process, like I said, of putting the whole thing together. It's hopeful. I mean, but no guarantees. Right now, we're just not sure that we're going to be able to do that. It depends. We'll see. Who knows? And yeah, so that's about the D30. Anything else?
Anything else stands out, Merlin? Someone is asking about the dumbed down version of the SR.
Yeah, I was just gonna bring that up.
Yeah.
How
So
dumb will it be? It will be so dumb that you can fly it at 500 feet at Mach 3.
yeah, they were asking specifically if we could clarify if the dumbed down version means that there's going to be two different versions of the same aircraft.
So when you say two different versions, I think of to myself like, will one be uglier than the other? And the answer is no. It's one product with in the tablet or the utility that selects your systems. You'll either be able to pick the simplified version, which will not require a refuel. It will not require, CG, paying attention to your center of gravity. It will not pay attention. It will not need you to pay attention to your AOA, angle of attack. It will not require you to pay attention to your spikes. It will not have the failures that the, study level version will have, and it will not have the, restrictions on flight. So you could not fly the real bird at Mach 3 at anything below 50,000 feet, I think was the actual technical limit, right? The plane just wouldn't go that fast. It was designed to go high and then fast, right? So it had this very specific flight path where it would do this and build up speed as it was getting higher. I'm sorry, I'm going out of frame here, but it would basically porpoise its way up to that, 75, 80, 90,000 feet foot altitude, all the while increasing its speed using gravity to speed up, and then, punching the throttles and, getting some more altitude. And then this actually allowed them to save and conserve fuel. I don't know who came up with the flight profile, but it's in the manual, and Brian actually talked about that extensively with Dutch. So it is a thing. In the I'm going to call it arcade version, you will not have to do any of that. You can just get in, punch it, and go, and pretty much any altitude. And the aircraft will be very forgiving. And that's basically the two differences. It's not the SR is almost certainly, I'm not going to guarantee it, but it's 99% certain that it will work on the Xbox. And so, it doesn't have any glass in it except for that little repeater screen. It's almost all analog. And so I don't expect it to have problems running. It's not that kind of dumbed down version. It really is just about how you can treat and fly the aircraft, right? So, you will not, it will be much, much harder to kill yourself in that aircraft than in the arcade version than in the study level, right? So yeah, you won't have to pay attention to what's going on in your environment. That's the main difference between the two versions. Anything else?
Yeah, and that's all controlled using the in-game tablet.
Yeah, so we're not 100% sure whether we're actually going to have a tablet that allows you to do that, or whether we'll actually have, a separate load that you have to make. So, SR arcade versus SR, SS for study level or something. I don't know. Naming convention aside, or ADV, we'll call it SR ADV. But the idea is to make it so that you can choose between which version you want, whether it's in sim or whether it's prior to being in the sim. Undecided. We'll get to that when we start dumbing it down, right? And yeah. Anything else?
There was. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Can we talk at all about the F-16?
Yeah. So the F-16, the code is nearly done. I know I said that last time, but we did find that many of the weapons systems are not in yet, and the reason for that is because we're trying to figure out how to do. I think we've got 27 different weapon systems that can go on this, 28 different weapon systems. And, there's all these different hard points, and you can put different weapons on there. And we're trying to figure out how to make this work nicely without any kind of disjointed load, unload times. And, how do we go about making this work efficiently? Plus, there's a lot of data that we just don't have. So we're having to make shit up, which is unfortunate. But it's something that, other developers have had to do when it comes to weapon systems anyway. So, that's probably not anything new to the game. But I can say that according to our developer, our lead dev, he says this aircraft has better systems than just about anything F-16 related elsewhere. And I'm not going to name names, but yes, it's going to be good. The model is undergoing final paint. We're just working on what that's going to look like. Actually, Dee, if you can open up a web browser and look up on Google Hellenic F-16s, and we'll show you something that that I want to do, but I'm getting some pushback on this, on the level of dirt. Can you do that, Dee?
Yep.
Anyway, so the aircraft is going to have, I think it's 12 to 15 liveries. We are looking at a fair amount of them. Yeah, so just Hellenic. You need to put Hellenic, right? Okay, you did. All right. So what you're looking for is the dirty one.
Dirty one, not this one.
Dirty. It's dirty. There's one that's like so dirty.
Oh, physically dirty.
Yeah. So it's the second one down, second one in from the left. That's it. That one. Yeah. Look at that baby. I told our guy, our painter model team lead, said, I want this.
That's not really dirt, is it? Did they just painted it that way, right?
Well, it's a combination of really,
Okay.
dirt and spray patching, and yeah, it's in pretty bad shape. And the way you can tell is the stencils are basically covered with this crap. Anyway, I said, I want this. I do. I want it at least as a livery. And the look he gave me was, yeah, okay, fine. It's gonna cost ya. But yeah, so we're not doing a D. We're doing a Block 50 and a Block 52. So a big mouth and a not big mouth. And it will have the conformals on there. And like I said, I can't remember how many weapons we've got on that will go on it, but it is, hold on, I think I have a list here somewhere. Hold on. Daddy's looking. Where'd I put it? Weapons. General assets. No, it's not there. Oh, I can't remember where it is. Things that go boom. I think that's what I called it, right? Things that go boom. I don't have it. Anyway, there's a lot. SDBs, small diameter bombs, MAVs, Zunis, CPU 57s and 190s or 107s. I can't remember what they are. We've got the Mark 82, 84, 83s, JDAMs, JASMs. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of weapons that can go on this bird, and they are all very nicely done. And so, when do we expect a release date? Well, it really depends on, what we're able to do vis-a-vis weapons. So there is some technology out there that we're aware of that allows you to drop a bomb. And that's cool, and we will probably have that. We are probably able to launch a missile. We can definitely fire the gun. Can we actually destroy things? Probably not. Not at this point. In 2024, I would say it's even less likely, given the way, given what has been said about 2024 to date by Microsoft and Asobo. So this is not something that we are actively looking at in 2024 at this time. In fact, it's not something that we're looking at in 2020, not actively anyway. We're right now concentrating on how far do we go in terms of of those weapons capabilities. The systems in the aircraft are, for all intents and purposes, done. Like the flight systems, those are done, and we're working on the flight profile. The RWR, the EW aspects, the weapons firing, prep and firing and targeting thereof. That still remains to be seen how we're going to do that, and even if we're going to do that. It really depends on a fair amount of things. That said, the airplane is definitively a step above what's available today pretty much anywhere. I'm going to go with that, other than the weapon system, because right now it's not geared towards that. It's a pilot's aircraft, not a fighter's aircraft, even though it is a fighter. So yeah. Anything else?
There was a question about the 310 in 2024.
So some companies have said that they're going to support 2024 out of the gate. We're not going to say that because we are under NDA and I can't say anything. But we're absolutely 100% not going to guarantee that any of our products will work out of the box. We're hoping that the statement that Microsoft and Asobos has made concerning full backwards compatibility. We're hoping that this is an actual thing, but we are not actively testing that at this time for a variety of very, very good reasons. And so I don't know whether or not we'll be able to straight up just do that. Will any of our existing products have career mode and walk-arounds out of the box? Probably not. I don't think anybody's will. None of the 2020 products anyway. And the reason for that is the way those things are done is, well, it doesn't exist in 2021, so it would have to be added after the fact. So does that mean we won't do it? Unknown. We'll have to see. Does that mean we won't charge for it? It's extremely unlikely that we would do it for free. I will say that. It's extremely unlikely that we would do it for free. And I really can't say anything more than that until the product is released, because we don't we just don't know. We don't know, um, which is why we're not saying yay or nay to that. Um, Anything else?
Yeah, there was a question about UH60. I'm only bringing that up to not ignore the question, but I don't think we can talk about that, right? Is that
We cannot talk about the
okay?
UH60, the MH60. We can't talk about that. Um, all will be made clear soon. That's all I can say. All will be. You will know soon. Soon. Somebody will tell you. I don't. But it won't be me. Or it will be. I don't know. I just don't know.
And the another one about the Dirty 30. Just
Yep.
to clarify, is the Dirty 30 long variant still being worked on to release alongside the short? What are you? Sorry, the thing keeps moving. What are you leaning towards as far as the planned rollout for that variant? I ask because that variant is the most widely used in Air Mobility Command.
So the long and the short will be released at the same time. The cockpit that we have is based on an RCAF long, a 30, a dash, a D30-30. So that said, we will have 4 or 5 cockpit variants, with some very, very minor functionality in the back. But the essential cockpit is going to be the same with one difference, and that is the refueling panel will be either there or not based on the aircraft that you pick. So, it will either have refueling capability or not. And when I say refueling, I mean for the aircraft itself to take on fuel, right? As to whether it will be able to dispense fuel, we haven't decided on that yet. It's possible. We're looking into it. We'll see. But yes, the intention is to have both versions at the same time, released at the same time. And yeah, so there'll be two ever so slightly different flight profiles. Apparently, though, according to what when we've discussed with active duty pilots, the differences between the two in terms of flight profile, it's really not that different. The short is slightly more maneuverable, has a little bit more pep, but because it's lighters, but not significantly so. Those engines are monsters. They are monsters. So, you could probably fly that plane with just one engine, although I definitely wouldn't want to. It would be like, I'm leaning to the left, depending on where the engine's out. Right, it would probably be really, really, really not safe to do. But yeah, the intention again is to release both versions with all 5 different. I believe it's 5. I might be wrong, so please, if I am wrong, don't shoot me. Um, with the 5 different versions of the back part of the cockpit. It is our intention to have both cargo bays. We're still not sure about how we're going to implement those vis-a-vis the ability to go from the cockpit and down the stairs and then through the door into the cargo bay. Not sure, because the systems are there's a lot of screen real estate going on in that aircraft, like a lot, and it's chewing through cycles. So having more textures and more triangles that need to be displayed also eats into that into that. So we're not 100% sure how we're going to handle that. We may say while you're in the internal, that you're not actually able to go into the back end, and if you do, it'll be super low poly. And the only time that it's high poly is when you're in the external view on the ground with the ramp, or with the ramp down, right? That would probably be the only time it would be high resolution. We're going to try things and see what kind of frame rate we hit on a variety of situations and systems. But yeah, again, finally, both versions released same time.
There was also a question about the T38, and we can't talk about it, so hopefully that answers that question. We still
We
can't
can't
talk
talk
about that.
about we
Yeah.
can't talk about the T38. It's off the table for the moment. So but we may have some news about that in a different realm fairly soon. Fingers crossed. We'll see. But yeah, we can't really discuss that. So moving on. Anything else?
That goes for Alpha and slash or Charlie. Just to finish answering that question. Merlin, anything else in the chat before we wrap up?
Do we want to mention anything about the T6 update?
Ah, yes. So the T6. The T6A is, we have one thing that we're trying to fix, and that is a controller issue that some people using Xbox controllers are having. But it's looking increasingly likely that it's not us, it's the sim. Some bus throwing going on here. But yeah, are we going to be able to fix that issue that some people are having? Probably not. Which means, fingers crossed, we're hoping to submit it to the marketplace by the end of this week, which we don't know how long it'll take, Microsoft to get it through the submission pipeline, but submission does mean that it is now in their hands, and we'll have to see. Will it play nicely on the Xbox? We tried it on an Xbox X, and it's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. On an Xbox S, the answer is I would not do that. I wouldn't do it. But you're welcome to try. Perhaps somebody will give a review of it, and perhaps it'll work fine. We don't have we just don't have an Xbox S handy. All of us that have Xboxes have Xbox X's. Yeah, so hopefully the end of this week. Fingers crossed.
The next question is actually something we were talking about earlier.
Which is
news on future strike aircraft.
So, yes, and that is an excellent question. One that I just I have an answer to. So, future strike aircraft. Yeah, well, that's my answer. The answer to your question is yes, there will be strike aircraft in the future. We're trying to, gauge what 2024 the sim is going to look like before we start anything new. Mostly because we do have contractual obligations, not just to Microsoft for the Sky Crane and for the Chinook, but also to the military. And so we're kind of, we're coding up and prepping the D30 and the UH-1H for 2024. But everything else is kind of in this, it's being worked on, but it's being worked on in a 2020 environment with the intention to, as soon as we know more about 2024, to move those to 2024. That's the intention, right? So we don't want to start anything new, but we do have a largish variety of aircraft that we do intend to do in Shrike. And, those will be some of the cooler birds that we have mentioned in the past, which I'm not going to talk about. And we have some new ones as well. that will also be very cool in Shrike, and things that that will be fun and relatively inexpensive. So we're still we're still doing Shrike aircraft. We're kind of playing a wait and see as to what 2024 allows us to do, um, and then we'll decide on which ones will be done in Shrike. But yes, we will move forward with Shrike. And
I wasn't sure if you were going to talk about this specific airplane we were talking about. I see you're not going to talk about that. So, okay, we're not talking about that. No, it's okay. I was just
I don't want to name
That's
names
true. It's a good
because
idea. You're right.
I don't want to
Yeah.
name names. We do have one
Establish
aircraft.
expectation.
Yeah, we do have one aircraft that we absolutely intend to do for Shrike. And one of the things, let's talk state of the sim here, okay? So actual state of the sim. So one of the things that we've noticed is that the amount of work and time that we spend on an aircraft does not always produce the financial results that we're hoping for. The T6 is a great example of that. Now, admittedly, we fucked up on the release. We didn't have the VR working properly. There were some egregious bugs that absolutely 100% should have been caught, in testing. We have rectified almost all, if not all, of those bugs. I think we just have one one controller issue, and we've even fixed the trim issue that some people were having, and so. But the fact of the matter is that the amount of development time for that was extreme. It cost us a huge amount of money and a huge amount of time. Um, and it's effectively the same team that's working on the D30. So, one of the things that we have to be careful of is that when we're picking an aircraft to do study level, we can't pick something that's going to be super mega complicated like, a T6A or, a D30. Those ones will be the T6A is absolutely 100% close to study level, if not actually study level, with all the fixes that will be put in and released very shortly in the last hot fix and RC2, right? The D30 close to study level, if not study level. I'm not a person that can say that. The systems are really, really good in the plane. But after that, we're not entirely sure where our focus is going to be. Like, we can't focus on military aircraft for study level, just because the money's not there, right? People want to fly DCS, not MSFS, for that kind of aircraft. So we'll just have to see how it goes. We're going to do the ones that we've announced. Most of them. Some of them we'll let you know that whether or not we've dropped them. And we'll see what the future holds. Right now, like most everybody, we don't really know what 2024 the sim is going to have in it. We'll have to see, right? And that, for today, is the state of the sim.
That's it. There's one more funny one here. There's a guy in the chat that works for Nolan, or he's like, I can get some help if you need it. Like, they're the ones we've been working with, right?
Nolanor?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, Nolanor, thank you very much to Nolanor. Honestly, those people were unbelievably helpful to us for the 732. They allowed us on site at Mirabel Airport, where their main base is, and we, they did run-ups, they did engine startups, engine shutdowns. We have a full recording set for the aircraft. We went, the guys, Osh and Mike, our sound guy, and John Moore, who isn't with the company anymore, but they went up there to Mirabel, and they went through the whole aircraft, took a ton of pictures. They recorded every single switch. We've got recordings of everything. Those guys were awesome. Thank you again for that. We gave them no remuneration whatsoever. And so, I don't know how much it costs to start a 732 several times, but it's probably ridiculously expensive, right? That kind of money I just don't have. And so, so they were really, really kind, so thank you again to Nolanor. Like, really, thank you so much. So if you work for Nolanor, that's super awesome. But I don't think we need any other help right at the moment. I think we used up our welcome. I think we burned through that one. Right? So yeah. The 732 is definitely going to be study level, or close to it. That is, we want it to be nice. It's not going to be PMDG, because we're not PMDG, but it'll be fun to fly, and no, it will not have an MCP, no MCP.
I think it'll fit in well with those who have the PMDG and the new iFly Max. It'll fit right in there when you want to slow things down a bit and go a bit old school. It'll definitely fill
VOR.
that role.
You're gonna have to learn how to do VOR. That's really what it is.
A lot of the kids are like, "What's VOR?"
That's exactly right. I don't even know what that is. It's voiceover recording.
Psych. All right, I guess that's it. Thanks everyone for joining us, and we're happy to kind of spend this time with you and ask some of your questions in real time as opposed to just waiting for us to reply on social media. So we try to get around to these things as often as we can and give you an idea of the current outlook and what's planned. And again, like many of you, we're just kind of really waiting to see how 2024 is going to suss out so that we can better work on planning for the next aircraft as well as updating the current aircraft. So definitely stay tuned to our social media for updates on that stuff. And until then, I guess we will see you on the next State of the Sim. Anything else, Colin?
No, I'm good, man. See you later.
Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Howdies.
Yeah.